Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cutter One. I am your host, Jay Just Jay, your resident troublemaker and your resident culture warrior. I hope you are all doing wonderful on this weekend in December. It's nice where I am. It's kind of a little bit chilly, but it's sunny, which is good because like the past 2 days we got hit with that sort of winter mix crap storm that was moving through the central U.S. here. Um, so but it's nice and sunny now, so it's cool. I hope it's gorgeous where you are. So this article caught my attention, and I figured I would share it with you because it fills me with dread and fear. Let's take a look. All right, this is coming to us from our good friends over at Screen Rant, and it says Rings of Power may have secretly brought back a lost Lord of the Rings movie elf. Glorfindel is a legendary figure in Lord of the Rings, but was nearly forgotten in the movies. Rings of Power could have secretly brought him back. All right, and this is less than a day old, and it's from Emily Clute. Let's see what Emily has to say. The Rings of Power may have secretly brought back Glorfindel, one of the mightiest elves in Middle-earth's history, who was lost to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movie trilogy. The Rings of Power Season 1, Episode 5, Partings, tells the story of an unnamed elven warrior, quote, with a heart as pure as Manwë, unquote, who single-handedly defeated a Balrog of Morgoth and became a figure of legend. While the identity of the elf in the legend is never confirmed, the Rings of Power could be preparing to provide retribution for one of the book trilogy's major characters. In J.R.R. Tolkien's original works, Glorfindel was a much beloved hero and leader amongst the 12 houses of Gondolin. When Morgoth's army attacked the secret city in the First Age, Glorfindel gave his life in the fight against the Balrog. For valiantly protecting the refugees of Gondolin, he was granted a second life and angelic powers as an emissary of the Valar in the Second Age. Glorfindel played an integral role in the war against Sauron, single-handedly challenging the Nazgul under the service of Elrond and declaring the prophecy of the Witch King of Angmar's demise. Though Glorfindel is a major character in the books, he was practically written out of the movie trilogy. The Rings of Power Season 2 can bring Glorfindel back. If the unnamed elf of legend is, in fact, Glorfindel, Rings of Power could be gearing up for his triumphant return. The Rings of Power takes place roughly in the same period of the Second Age as Glorfindel's resurrection, putting the Rings of Power Season 2 in the perfect position to properly bring Glorfindel back. In fact, some early fan theories believed the stranger to be Glorfindel resurrected. Little is set in stone about Glorfindel's actions in the time after his return to Middle-earth, giving the series room to explore his character, the role he played in the war against Morgoth, and his journey to becoming one of Elrond's most trusted companions, where Glorfindel is in Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies. Glorfindel technically makes a handful of appearances in the Jackson trilogy, but his role is greatly reduced from that of the books. He is not granted any lines, and his storyline is chopped into pieces and distributed to various characters. Arwen takes his place in leading Frodo to Rivendell in the Fellowship of the Ring. His prophecy becomes a boastful taunt from the Witch King himself, and his most notable appearance comes during the crowning of King Elisar. In truncating the massive world of Middle-earth to fit a to fit a movie format, Glorfindel is essentially reduced to a cameo role to allow characters like Arwen to truly shine. Though Jackson decided that Glorfindel didn't fit his vision for the film trilogy, the Rings of Power may be gearing up to give the mighty elf a worthy comeback. As one of the most powerful figures in Middle-earth, Glorfindel deserves to be included in the telling of its history, though some of Glorfindel's story would be altered if he is indeed this elf of legend. He never fought a Balrog over a tree in the original text. This scene in Rings of Power Season 1 could be secretly paying tribute to a mighty forgotten hero, as well as perfectly setting up his long-awaited return. All right, let's see. I don't know how I feel about that one, to be honest with you guys. Yes, while the idea of getting to see Glorfindel on screen as a Tolkien fan is something that I'm like, Yeah, I would want that. Rings of Power. I don't know if I would want that from Rings of Power. Um, and trust me, I'm not happy about feeling that way either. But it is what it is. Rings of Power, as a Tolkien fan, Rings of Power has insulted me, my intelligence, the lore, Tolkien himself, Peter Jackson's adaptations. They've literally gone out of their way to either directly or indirectly change, alter, or flat out just shit on everything about Tolkien that I love, and that turned me into a fan of his work, as well as the Peter Jackson adaptations. So having that group of people, i.e., Rings of Power as a whole, um, try to present Glorfindel, that idea makes me shudder. And I would actually not want. I would rather not see Glorfindel adapted to screen than to see him adapted to screen in Rings of Power. And I hope that they do not do that. I find it interesting how Emily sort of, the subtext of that article there is like, well, Peter Jackson didn't feel he was good enough to put in the film. Although she doesn't actually say he didn't feel that he was good enough. He just felt Peter Jackson felt that he did, his storyline didn't make the cut, right? Which is I find interesting because I think Emily would probably be one of the first people that if you turned around and said, well, they should have cut Liv Tyler out of most of it and given Glorfindel back his moment of with Frodo, I think she would probably give you a million and one mainly gender-based reasons as to why that's wrong and you are wrong for even thinking that. But in this article, she seems to say that, well, Peter Jackson dropped the ball by not giving him a bigger role, and the Rings of Power can do that. I don't know. Take it for what you want. That's just my take on it. I just sort of see like the double standard here. It's like, oh, he wasn't included in the movies, because the movies are trash, and you guys should really stop comparing our show to the movies. But he wasn't included in the movies, but the show can bring him back and stuff like that. And it's like, no, y'all guys, no. There's like, it's like that bad relative that keeps coming over and says, hey, can you lend me $10? Can you lend me $10? I'll get it back to you next week. Can you lend me $10? And like, 1 week you lend them $10, and then a month later they come back. Hey, can you lend me $25? And so you lend them the $25, and then a month later they come back. Hey, can you lend me another $25 and stuff like that? And they keep promising to pay you back, and it never comes. That's sort of like where I am with like Rings of Power now. Like they keep talking a good game. I'll give them credit; they talk a great game, but they fail on the follow through. They don't deliver. The show season 1 did not deliver. And now just the concept of them touching the story of someone like Glorfindel or his character makes me immediately sit there and go, no, it's all right. We don't need Glorfindel in the show. Thanks. I'd rather his image stay intact based on what I've read in actual Tolkien's books. I don't need you guys to adapt it because, quite honestly, you adapt Tolkien's work like shit, and I don't want you to do that to this character. So I don't know. That's my take on it, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Would you want to see Glorfindel make an appearance in the Rings of Power series, either in season 2, 3, 4, or 5? Or are you like me? Do you think, you know what? You guys don't have a good track record with handling adapting Tolkien's work, so just leave his character alone, please. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm curious if I'm the only one who's feeling this way, or if you guys might be feeling this way as well. Also, if you like the video, like the video. If you feel like sharing the video, please do so. It helps get the word out. If you have not subscribed, I would hope that you would consider subscribing. And if you have subscribed, I thank you for returning and joining me on this journey. This is going to be the last video for today, guys. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the weekly roundup. Like, as you know, that we've been doing. I'm trying to sort of now get things in place where things become sort of scheduled. Tomorrow's weekly roundup is where I will go through all of the comments and questions from the videos that dropped during the week, and I'll sort of just touch on some of them, some that I think are good, or some that raise better points that I may have overlooked or glossed over, or questions directed at me or my opinion of something or whatever. So tomorrow that video will come out. I don't know what time, probably sort of around midday. I would say somewhere, safely say between 12 and 2-ish Eastern time, is when that'll come out. Also, I'm gonna go over that. I also will give an update on the live streaming stuff, because without getting into too much detail. Yes, I do plan on doing some sort of like weekly live stream. I'm just sort of trying to work out some details about how it can be more than you guys just jumping in a live stream and chat. I'm thinking about some sort of maybe like weekly or a monthly like trivia thing, but then you get into the question, well, how do you determine a winner and get people, if there's prizes, how do you get them their prizes and stuff? I'm trying to make it a two-way thing, not just like, hey, show up to my live stream and send me money. Like, I'm trying to make it something that it's sort of a two-way thing, like where I'm getting something out of the live stream and you guys are getting something out of the live stream too. So I'm still working on that, but I'll give you updates on that tomorrow. Anyway, I will talk to you soon. Be good, be safe, be awesome. And as always, peace.